Welcome to the Unveiled Epic Echoes channel. Today, we're diving deep into an unexplored historical mystery. The story begins on a quiet American night humming with the distant sound of highways and wind through suburban trees, when a forgotten sleep app resurfaced on a nearly obsolete app store. Its icon a simple crescent etched with symbols no modern designer claimed. And when Hale, a historian by training and an insomniac by habit, downloaded it in a moment of half-awake curiosity, he had no idea that sleep itself would become a doorway rather than a rest. Because this was not an app designed to lull the mind into emptiness, but one that promised, in soft amber letters, access to real dreams, the kind that history once believed were messages from the earth and the dead. The kind ancient Americans whispered about long before the word America existed, when dreams were considered shared territories rather than private illusions. And as lay in his small apartment in Boston, the app's voice calm and distinctly human. It spoke in an accent that felt familiar yet impossible to place, inviting him to breathe with the rhythm of something older than clocks, older than cities. And when sleep finally claimed him, it did not fade but deepened, carrying him into a landscape that felt startlingly solid. A moonlit river winding through endless plains where fireflies formed constellations he somehow recognized. And there he met a woman dressed in deerskin and woven copper, who spoke English layered with echoes of forgotten tongues, explaining that this place was not imagination but memory, a shared archive maintained by those who once knew how to listen. And she told him that long before written history, ancient peoples across the continent used dream paths to preserve truths that could not survive conquest or time. Truths hidden in sleep when libraries burned and names were erased. And as followed her through forests that breathed and stones etched with symbols similar to the app's icon, he realized he was walking through chapters of history never taught, witnessing councils of elders who debated the arrival of strangers across the ocean centuries before Columbus, watching visions of earthworks glowing with astronomical precision, hearing lullabies sung to encode maps of stars and rivers so future generations might remember where they came from. And each night he returned, the app guiding him deeper, his waking days blurring as he uncovered stories of a forgotten alliance between tribes stretching from the Mississippi to the Atlantic, an alliance that foresaw collapse not through war but through forgetting. And in these dreams, he learned of a final safeguard, a way to store the living memory of a people inside the architecture of sleep itself. A technique passed down until it was finally hidden inside symbols that would one day look like harmless design. Waiting for a time when humans trusted machines enough to let them guide their rest. And as dreams grew clearer, his body began to change, his senses sharpening, his heart aching with a longing he couldn't explain, because the dreams were not just showing him the past but testing him, measuring whether he could carry it without claiming ownership. And the woman warned him that many before had failed, drawn by power or fame, waking mad or hollow, but listened, choosing humility over control. And one night the river led him to a vast stone circle buried beneath what would one day be a Midwestern town, where he saw the final hidden truth, that history itself was not linear but cyclical, that civilizations rose and fell not by fate but by how they treated memory. And the app, he realized, was not a product but a key, built using fragments of ancient logic combined with modern code. Created by a small group of indigenous programmers and historians who vanished after releasing it quietly, trusting that the right dreamer would find it. And when finally woke one morning, the app gone from his phone, he felt no loss, only a calm resolve because the dreams had changed him. And instead of publishing papers or chasing recognition, he began telling stories, subtle ones, woven into podcasts, bedtime tales, and quiet lectures. Stories that carried the rhythm of the river and the fireflies, planting memory back into a culture that had forgotten how to listen while sleeping. And across the country, others began dreaming the same landscapes without ever knowing why. Children describing stone circles they had never seen, elders humming melodies older than words, and somewhere beyond time, the woman by the river smiled, knowing the archive was alive again, not as data but as shared rest. As the night deepened and the listener drifted closer to sleep, carrying with them the comforting sense that history was not lost, only waiting, patient as dreams, for someone to open the door and walk through gently. This mysterious journey ends here, but stay tuned for more untold stories in our next video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories. Thank you, and see you again.